The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN Thursday morning, 8:30 a.m. 1 hour to go until the opening bell. And we got markets a little bit mixed this morning. NASDAQ 100, you got tech stocks in the positive by about 20 points right now, 11,906. S&P's negative by 15 points, trading at 35.53. We got the Dow giving back some of the gains, just above 29,000. Pretty remarkable. We got a 30,000 print on the dot on Monday. We pulled back about 1,000 points from that flash high, you could call it. We were trading prior to the vaccine news on Monday in the Dow, about 28,578. We're about 400 points, maybe 500 points above that level, 29,059. The Russell off more than 1% at 1717. The Russell's given up almost 100 points from that flash high it had on the vaccine news as well. Crude oil, pretty steady, up about 4 pennies right now at 41.41. We get the gold contract catching a little bit of a bid, pretty muted action after that sell-off on Monday. Gold up $7 at 18.68. You get silver down 2 pennies at 24.24, and notes and bonds, a little bit of higher price and lower yield. We're looking at a yield right now of 0.931% on the 10-year. You're up 8 ticks at 137.27. The 30-year up 20 ticks at 171.09. And we'll jump over to the volatility index. A little bit of negative action in the S&Ps. We got the VIX up a bit, up 75 cents at 25.20. All right, what else we got going on in the markets? It's Thursday. It's 8:30 a.m. We get weekly jobless claims. 709,000 seems to be a sliding number. We were in the 900s, 800s, 700s, or now it's 709,000, almost sneaking into a 6 handle there on weekly jobless claims. That number coming out at 8:30. We'll see if we get some more breakdowns in terms of where those jobs come from. But last week we were at 757,000. Keeping in mind, folks, the record ever prior to COVID was 695,000 jobs in 1 week. We've been stuck at that level since March. It's November. You're talking about 8 months. We've been registering a weekly unemployment jobless claim number that is in record territory in any other universe besides 2020. 695,000. Maybe next week we get below that number. The trend seems to be in the right direction. All right, what do we got going on in the market? Jumping around to the indices again. You see the action overnight. Yesterday, trading range between about 35.50 and 35.75. You trade higher into the close. You sell off right from the close. You make lows last night at about midnight, back down there at 1:30, and really almost 3 in the morning. You start to trade higher from 35.43 to 35.70. Checking in on the action on that jobless claims number. There's your 8:30 bar. Pretty muted action. Right, pretty much in line, more than 700,000 jobs, less than 800,000 jobs, pretty much in line with how the market was looking. We'll pull up that number. Continuing claims, always an interesting number as well as we digest that news coming out at 8:30 in the morning. All right, what else we got going on? Checking into equities with stocks making moves. We still have some earnings going on this season. Energizer, batteries, not as many batteries as you might think, folks. Let me just see. I'm going to click on this. I'm looking for an updated number in terms of these for continuing claims. Not in there quite yet. Okay. So Energizer, they're trading lower this morning. They had a quarterly profit of 59 cents. Market was looking for 81. Revenue did beat estimates, but the company said it incurred higher costs to help meet demands of customers and employees. They announced a 7.5 million share buyback program and announced that the CEO is going to retire January 1st, replaced by the president and COO. But as they say, pulled this one up this morning. They are trading lower this morning. Energizer. Probably a couple things, right? You miss on earnings, which matters. Costs are going higher than they anticipated, and the CEO is out on January 1st. Not sure how that's factoring in, but lower this morning nonetheless for Energizer. Moderna. So here's a story we're going to jump to. So, poised to take vaccine spotlight with data due. So they seem to have enough data. We're going to read this one. Now it's Moderna's time to be in the spotlight. The same U.S. explosion of COVID-19 cases to help Pfizer get results for its vaccine trial earlier this week is helping speed along Moderna's trial. I mean, the thing is, right, to test out these vaccines, you need cases. And the unfortunate part, the one silver lining, folks, about what's going on in the country right now is that you have cases to test this against. Pretty remarkable. I was looking at this curve. I mean, I don't think a lot of people would realize, folks, that we're coming up to basically a straight rocket ship curve. And right now we're dealing with a 7-day average of approaching 130,000 cases. When school started about 2 months ago, we were at near about 30,000 cases. That's called exponential growth. Scary stuff. And, you know, the big discussion out there, as it should be, well, what's the death totals? Okay, well, the death total on October 6th on a daily average in the country was 697. As of yesterday, we're approaching 1,100, folks, okay? They're still tied together. The data is saying it. Be careful out there. We got vaccines coming down the pipeline, but these numbers are still correlated. No matter how much care we're able to provide, they're still correlated, okay? We're in the probability business, folks. You just went from under 700 to approaching 1,100 percentage-wise. That's quite a spike. Deaths lag cases, the dramatic rise in cases, the most recent. So back to what we were talking about, Moderna, they got plenty of cases to test this about. That's probably part of the reason that we're getting some of these vaccine data trial numbers quicker than you might have thought. They didn't predict. So they're going to, it's accumulated more than 53 infections. That's the Moderna study. Now, if you remember, the Pfizer study, I believe it was 90-something infections that they had an interim analysis they came out with. That was Monday. That was the 90% effective rate. That's where things accelerated. So Moderna's saying, listen, we got 53 infections, and we're going to come out with data. That's going to allow us to have an interim data analysis, okay? Moderna didn't predict how long it could take an independent monitoring committee to analyze the data. Doesn't seem like it should take that long, right? Tell me how many people got COVID. Tell me how many people had adverse effects, a big one as well. But the company said the company could get the data to the committee within days. So expected an announcement there from Moderna on their vaccine news, mRNA. Whoops, mRNA is their symbol. And there you see the pop on that news from 82 up to 87. We're back to about 85 right now. Checking back in on the other two. We had Pfizer, of course. I mean, pretty remarkable. You get that spike to 42, and you've been giving it back most of the week. We were at almost 37 to start the week. I mean, imagine this. Imagine you're a Pfizer shareholder. Last week, they announced on Monday morning that you have a 90% effective vaccine, possibly, as you're working your way through the data, and you're about $1 higher, basically, going into Thursday trading. Now, some context here. Yeah, you were at 34 and change. You were at 27, but you're right back to where you were, basically, pre-COVID levels on Pfizer. mRNA, Moderna, a little bit of a different story there. Pre-COVID, beginning of February, you're trading at 21. Right now, you're trading at 82. And we'll finish it up with BioNTech, the one who had paired up with Pfizer as well. They were at 17 a year ago. They were at about 30 to start the year. They're at 109 right now. All right, S&P's catching a little bit of a bid. For some context here, and this is an important area, folks. We haven't seen territory above this besides the flash high. You know, you might see a little bit of resistance right here. Market okay with being in higher territories. A lot of hope out there, as there should be. We got a vaccine. We got multiple vaccines potentially coming down the pipeline. But do you really accelerate dramatically higher from where we are? We'll pull it up. I mean, we're positive for the year. You're talking about almost 10% for 2020 right now in the S&Ps. We'll be right back, folks.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Checking in the S&Ps. They're negative by about 10 points right now. You see the action overnight. Pretty muted reaction, as in we're popping 10 points from where we were yesterday. You sell off from about 35.75 down to an area about 35.45, catching a little bit of a bounce right now on the weekly jobless claims coming in at just over 700,000. Jumping back to those numbers for a little bit of context in terms of where we are. So in addition to the decline in the weekly pace, okay, they're talking about as in we're down to 709,000 from 757,000. Still the record was 695 in 1982 prior to COVID, okay? Continuing claims, as I mentioned, also a big one, again saw a significant decline, falling to 6.79 million, a 436,000 decrease from a week earlier. Continuing claims, that's a week older data than the weekly jobless claims number we just got. So continuing claims were a week behind the weekly jobless claims number we just got. Okay, it takes them a little bit longer to assemble that. Not sure why. Government should be able to get that together. Probably. Nonetheless, that's the way the data works. Continuing claims a week behind the headline number of weekly jobless claims. But here's the part I wanted to get to, folks. As of October 24th, 21.16 million Americans were collecting some form of assistance, a decrease of 374,000. A year ago, that total was 1.45 million. That is quite a number, folks. Okay? And I believe that's talking about, however, the level of those still collecting remains high as thousands of workers who are seeing their regular benefits expire migrate to the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. Initial claims under the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program totaled 298,000 for the week, actually a decrease of 63,000 from the week earlier. I would love to see the breakdown of where they get this number here, 21 million. Show me that one. I was looking for it for Bloomberg as well, not quite there. Continuing claims falling by 436,000. That is for the week ended October 31st. But the number of people claiming support and programs offered extended assistance increased as more Americans exhausted their regular state benefits. That's the thing here, folks. Don't get caught up in these headline numbers. You're seeing a lot of shifting around from weekly jobless claims to continuing claims to pandemic unemployment assistance programs. Still a lot of hurt going on in this economy out there. All right, let's jump around to some of the other equities that are moving this morning. All right, let's see. Sliding up. I wanted to get to Alibaba, so we got to talk about. Yesterday we talked about they did, what, $56 billion in sales to start off their Singles Day. Well, turns out that they rocked in at about $75 billion for the event, actually extending over several days this year. They're learning from Amazon. Prime Day, how about like a 2 or 3 day Prime Day sale? Baba, though, they were under pressure because of the potential regulations coming from China, kind of clamping down any type of growth on those Singles Day numbers. You had Baba on Tuesday closing at about 270. You saw some sell-offs going on. There's the drop having to do with the potential new regulations they'll be dealing with. You see a little bit of price appreciation for the Singles Day sales. We're sitting at 270 right now on Alibaba. Checking in on some of our tech stocks. Amazon shares, you're up a bit right now. NASDAQ 100, the only index in the positive by about 36 points. Amazon at 31.54. Microsoft shares right now up barely, less than $1 at 217.41 from 216.55. Apple, the big dog, from 119.49 to 119.69. So pretty muted reaction. Facebook shares up a bit as well, up about $1. Netflix shares right now up about $2. Some of my favorites I like to look at. Disney, they had quite a pop on the vaccine news. They pared some of those gains back to about 136. The ride-hailing companies, they've been pretty strong, up to 49, back to 45. You had Lyft earnings yesterday. A little bit of volatility, up to 39.59. You're backing down a bit right now with the S&Ps to 35.68. And let's check in on some of the cannabis stocks, as they've had quite the run the last week or two as well. You had Canopy, their earnings on top of the acceleration that they had with the election to 27.25. You're at about 24. Tilray shares up to 14. You're back to 7. Folks, these stocks, watch out. This is why we've talked about it. You're going to be in the cannabis sector. Number one, Canopy, not a bad deal. You got Constellation behind you. They're not going to let this company fail in any way. They're quite the leader already up in Canada. And you see the difference, right? You went from 19 to 27 back to 24. Tilray, just in this week, you go from 6.55 to 14 back to under 8. Ouch. Aurora Cannabis, you go from 5 to 16 to 7. My goodness. Folks, Tom was talking about on his show yesterday with a caller, if you're in the gold market, some of these equities, you got to take profits, right? You just can't be in gold forever because some of the swings that it has are just monumental. You pick the right cannabis company, maybe like a Canopy, and I'm biased. I have some Canopy myself. I have some Constellation. But if you're in this stock, yeah, you might be okay. But any of these other ones, I mean, look at these stocks. You'd have been a fool not to take some profits there. Now, yeah, you really would have had to take them at 12 almost the day after. You saw that huge spike on Monday. But even yesterday, you were at 9. You're now at 780 on Tilray, Aurora Cannabis. You were up in the 12s for most of the day on Monday. Just like that, you get back 33%. You're down at $7.50. So take some profits in this market, folks. It is a quick market. You're going to have plenty of opportunities for trades. You got to take some profits here and there. Can't just be waiting for the triple bagger every single time. Nike, they got a new rating of outperform from RBC, calls the athletic footwear and apparel maker best in class. Global athletic play faster than expected recovery from COVID-related disruption. Nike shares, a little reaction on that, but right now we're basically flat at 127.67. You see the news on the vaccine. Nike, and a pretty strong company. Check out that uptrend, folks, right out of the gate. Quite a trend channel line as I was looking at Nike for one of our prospects in terms of a long-term equity play, maybe in Rocket, equities and options. It's been a one-way trip from 60, folks. You're trading at 127 in Nike shares. Starbucks, they are trading a little bit lower. Starbucks down to 50. I like this stock long-term as well. Was Starbucks out here? No, they didn't have any headlines. I was just looking at them. Strong company. They were hit earliest than most. You see the sell-off began actually in January because of their presence in China. Starbucks, huge presence going on in China, so they actually started trading lower ahead of most of the market as they were getting hit in China before the virus. We were all sure that it was going to be a worldwide phenomenon, not just something in China. You saw it go from 94 and change to 50, right back at that level at 95 for Starbucks. That's a good quality company. Folks, they're the biggest drug deal in the world, coffee. Biggest drug in the world. Nobody's stopping drinking coffee tomorrow, and Starbucks is well positioned with a great brand in there. All right, jumping over to gold. Quite the acceleration in gold. You back this up. Now look right where we are, folks. 100% move going all the way from the lows we had on the COVID lows, we'll call it, up to the highs of 2,089. And gold just bounced along that 382, folks, that price level of 1847. Zooming in the action here, I mean, look at how we're bouncing on these levels. Back in September, we were down there. The flash low got us down to a low of 1848. Folks, 1848, 20 cents to the 20 cents within a quarter of the price of that 382. All right, something I'm always keeping track of. Fibonacci's, I like to keep it pretty simple, folks. Fibonacci levels, okay, trend lines, volume, simple stuff, you know, and you keep it simple, becomes pretty easy. That doesn't get much simpler. Looking for a possible bounce of a 382 retracement from the move it had. Just kind of been basing around. I mean, even you back it up, right? Talking about from September 21st, we've been consolidating in this area. See what happens. S&P's negative by 10. Get the NASDAQ positive by 33. Dow negative 202. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's minus by 12. Should be an interesting open. Quite a market we got, folks. Last week, this week, so many variables in play right now. We got Boeing off a bit. Boeing's been putting quite a bid into the Dow right now. We got the Dow off 228 points. Taking a look real quick. CNBC's got up here the Dow. We've had quite the couple weeks, folks, when you look at this. The past 10 trading days. Has that been a good week for the bulls? Yeah, I would say so, folks. Be careful if you are especially in the Dow. My goodness, 0.5%, 1.6, 2.1, 1.3, 1.9. It takes a break. We'll call it almost flat. 2.9, 0.9. We'll call it flat again yesterday. At some point, this is going to take a reprieve, give it back a little bit. Folks, we got a long way to go. These vaccines, they're coming out. But look at this move we just had. I mean, that's October 3rd. We were at 44,000. It's 5 or 6 weeks later, and we're at 130,000, folks, okay? This vaccine is going to take 2, 3, 6 months or something to disseminate to people, and I bring that up because, number one, social distance, folks, wear a mask, be safe out there. We'll get over this thing. But number two, we're going to see some hurdles, folks. We're going to see some volatility. We're going to see some to the downside. It's going to happen eventually. This thing is not going to be a rocket ship all the way straight up. And you saw what we just had in terms of those moves in the Dow. I mean, my goodness, right? Where were we? There we are. Those are staggering moves in a big way, and that's why to put the Dow where we are, right? Look at this move that we just had in the Dow. My goodness, you just traded from 26,000 to 30,000, folks. You added 4,000 points from October 30th to November 9th. Yeah, so be aware, folks. Even, I mean, you want to talk about, we'll zoom it in right now. We'll wrap up the program. This seems appropriate. Let's wrap it up with a little Fibonacci ahead of our man, Larry Pesavento. If you just talk about the move that we just had, folks, a 38% retracement brings the Dow down another 600 points, and that's after pulling down 1,000 points. But when you trade up 4,000 points in the span of 3, 6, 7 trading days, that's right. Yeah, 4,000 Dow points in 7 trading days, folks. Watch out for this volatility, and we'll wrap it up with the VIX. Why not? VIX 2405. Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pesavento coming up next. Live programming all day at TFNN. Be right back.